Cha! Smooth transition. Get you out of here. What is going on, everybody? We are back, YouTube episode 3. Or channel episode 3? It doesn't matter. But today we are talking about Legos. I know there's been something that I've not posted out a lot on social media, but we're changing that because we're bringing it back. Starting off, because it's spooky season, with this very lovely haunted house and a couple other surprises that I think you and the viewers are gonna like, because I know I love them, and who doesn't love some unique Lego sets made by other creators? So, without further ado, let's dive into it. Cool. So, this is a So, this beauty right here is just over 3,000 pieces, according to my statistics here, 3,231 pieces, and is just a monster of a build. I knocked this out in about 10 hours, mainly because there was a lot of fluff to get through, but it was very worth it because this bad boy opens up and it's just chock full of adventure. I mean, you have such amazing features like a working elevator that also doubles as kind of like a Tower of Terror situation. You have a crank in the back here, which is using a Technic chain system that will bring our elevator up and actually take our guests of the attraction on a frightful journey all the way up and dramatically all the way back down. This is actually a feature that uses Lego Power Up, so you can control it from your phone, which is, you know, if you're across the room and want to show it off, super convenient. We've also got other neat features that I'm going to dive in deeper to here that light up and actually open up as well. You can kind of see it from that distance, but later in the video we'll dive a little bit further into it. But overall, it is a absolutely beautiful model. Makes use of olive green very nicely. So for my Lego military fans that need some olive green, this is definitely a set worth buying. And it also comes with some amazing minifigures, which we'll go into here in a second as well. So going from top to bottom, we have our really fun action feature up top that shows our guests inside the elevator as they arrive up at the top, getting one little glimpse of freedom before they're dropped down to terror. And then on our second level here, we have our power-up feature over to the left, which transitions beautifully to our other artifacts that have been collected over the years. And there are other fun Easter eggs in here that tie back to other Lego themes from past, which is fun, and other spooky elements which really add well to the model itself, insinuating a lot of adventure, storytelling, and color as well, which is very important for any Lego model. And I would be kicking myself if I did not discuss these amazing minifigures. So from left to right, we've got these spooky, very classic ghosts, which have been actually double printed on their faces. So you can have one smiling, one frowning, 2 frowns, 2 smiles, whatever your heart desires. And then in our middle section here, we've got the Barron brothers. One of them mysteriously evaded the police and possibly still in the mansion somewhere. He may or may not be alive. We're not sure. And then in the middle, we've got our frightened, not really sure what the heck is going on here, goers to this possible attraction. Is it filled with excitement or just straight fear? There's situation, probably just straight fear. And then off to our right, we have a couple other unlikely heroes, a couple on their first date, and who I concluded was a reporter. She's gone in here to figure out what the heck's going on with this haunted mansion and gonna write some killer story about it. And then of course I cannot end this video without talking about the power functions. Isn't that cool? Again, another tie back to a very old Lego theme. One of my favorites, actually, the adventure theme. And then of course over here we have our swinging doors, which appropriately enough have been made handicap accessible. This set does actually come with a fun little wheelchair. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate the power feature here. It's a little gear system if I can find it. There we go, and ta-da! And if you'll notice, our chandelier actually swings a little bit when it opens for added spooky effects. Oh, super fun diving into this guy. But all buildings set aside, we've got some fun trucks to explore. So before me, I have Evan Melick's FMTV, better known as the Oshkosh LMTV. I've had a lot of fun driving this in my military career, and still do, because it's a super badass truck that comes in a bunch of different wheel configurations from 6 to 8 to 2, whatever your heart desires, this truck can handle it. And speaking of different configurations, of course, my baby, the Jeep Wrangler JL. So let's dive into them. Now for a comparison shot, I've also included one of LEGO's Speed Champions SRT Hellcat Challengers. First off, absolutely beautiful model, but for comparison purposes, it's scaled a little differently to our minifigure here. Yeah, it's definitely a good design here, but personally, I like the scaling of these trucks a little bit better. And yes, it's kind of hard to achieve minifigure scale in some of these LEGO models, but you know, they definitely knock it out to the best of their abilities. So let's roll on into it. All puns intended. The dad energy I have is trust me, it's not fake. It's very, very, very real. So anyway, our Oshkosh our FMTV made by Evan Melick is the two-wheel version. You can also see here that she rolls, which is important. It's got working suspension integrated with a fun Technic system. So what that means is that we've taken LEGO mechanical parts and basically put them into the solid brick. And speaking of function, let's check that out. So we can actually open up our door inside here, pop off the roof for extra view, and we've got our little steering column, little e-brake for that extra parking insurance, and our tailgate actually opens up. And I went ahead and put some odds and ends inside here to show off the storage capability, but you can really scope this out to any of your heart's desires. And of course, it all folds back up all neat and tidy-like, which is very important in any military fashion, because tidiness is what wins battles, as cheesy as that sounds. But moving on to our JL, affectionately, I made one in the configuration I should have ordered from the factory, a 4-door, but at the time I was like, you know what, 2-door, definitely the move. But needless to say, I learned that one the hard way. I still love my Jeep to death though. But what's fun about LEGO is that you can always change it no matter what's going on. And in this configuration, I added some little combat odds and ends that technically aren't road legal here, at least I don't think so. But I also made some civilian versions, which sport some fun colors, really beachy themed. I think the new version of this hyper green is called Gecko, I think. But as you can see here, our Willys package sports the same kind of setup that all JLs do. I am very OCD about making sure that they are one-to-one with the actual trim package, and of course retain the same kind of functionality. The roof will actually pop off, doors will pop off for a much more open-air experience. And I was very honored to take part in this co-creation. Andrew Somers was the leader in it. I wore the proverbial cheerleader to make sure it went according to spec, but it definitely really accomplished the vision that we had for the model. We wanted to make sure that it had functionality, that it really spoke to the Jeep appearance as well, and of course, kept with a minifigure scale, which is, again, very important, because, you know, gotta have that functionality, it's important. Which, of course, off that, you can fit minifigures in all of these vehicles, and needless to say, they are just works of art, in my opinion. Get in here. As you can tell, my room setup is not the most copacetic for filming, but we're working with what we got, which is important in any film industry.
But yes, thank you so much for joining me for episode 1 of Legos with Christian. Technically episode 3 on the channel, but it's a part of a separate series, so that's where I'm calling it episode 1. We went from checking out a haunted mansion to checking out some of the road's finest from Evan Melick's Oshkosh FMTV. See, it's so similar, I'm getting the words integrated. And of course, a co-design with Andrew Somers with the Jeep Wrangler JL. Now, fun fact, you can buy instructions for these vehicles right here and order them off Bricklink. Super simple process. It can be complicated at first, but I assure you, it's very easy. And I believe kits are coming out as well. I will, of course, put that on social media to let you all know what is happening with these fine beauties right here. As for the Haunted Mansion, I do believe you can buy this off of Lego's website, in stores for sure. I think where else? If all else, links in the bio, which is very important. But nonetheless, happy Halloween, and I hope you all are safe. Get some candy, get some exercise, and make the most of your day. Thank you for joining me. Oh shit, and before I forget, until next time, crew. Very important, you gotta have the sign off.